episode of Start Live.
Yay.
Okay, alright, cool. So we are live today. We're talking about creative entrepreneurship, and we have two awesome photographers here who are going to share their perspective and their experience with being in the space. So to my right, I have Yannick Reid.
Blessings, everybody.
The therapist soul.
Yeah.
Who is, come tell us about yourself, Yannick.
I'm an independent photographer and creative. I creative direct. Mostly you might know me for creative directing for Protege, as well as, you know, just photo and video and design works. Yeah, that's me.
G. Okay, tell us about you, Stephen. You
Hi,
are a
guys.
fantastic photographer as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Stephen Roper. I'm more of a weekend warrior. I have my day job, but I shoot on the weekends. I do mostly like concept shoots, clothing line type shoots, as well as weddings and events.
Okay, all right, awesome. So clearly we're seeing that we're getting two different perspectives here. Yannick, who is 100% committed to his creative game, and he does that 24/7.
That's my 9 to 5.
You're 9 to 5, you're 5 to 9.
Yeah.
It's your entire life. And we have Stephen over here, who is, I think, a larger reflection of the creative audience that we have here in Jamaica, in that you're balancing both
9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Passion.
And passion. All right, guys. So first of all, I know I've brought you guys here under the guise of entrepreneurship, but do you consider yourselves entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
man, definitely. Yeah.
What do you, Stephen? Tell me. Why do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Well, it's because I love what I do. Like, I'm passionate about it, and I know that I don't mind when I started out. I didn't mind not making money from it, but I just knew that because I love it so much and I understand it so much. Like, I wake up in the morning looking forward to it. I just knew that the more work I put in, the more I'd be able. I'd reach a certain point where I could definitely charge and make a living off of it.
Okay, so are you making a living off of it? You're balancing it?
Yeah, I'm balancing it. No.
Yannick, clearly, you are not hungry.
Really?
So, no, you know what I mean.
You big dog, you big.
Yeah.
I'll take a free bun and cheese.
Everybody,
Don't block my blessings.
everybody, no, we're not going to block your blessings. I think everybody would take a free bun and cheese. But Yannick, clearly, this is all that you do. Do you consider yourself a businessman, an entrepreneur, or is it a situation where, you know, I'm just a guy who loves creative and I get the opportunity to do it?
I definitely consider myself a businessman. I was thinking about this up to today, up to yesterday. No matter that, you know, I might not dress in the suit and tie and the button up, but I take my work very seriously. Maybe that thankfully I get to enjoy my job and laugh, and you know, you see me having a lot of fun, but I take my job very seriously, and when working with others and clients and partners, I take them and their time extremely seriously. I'm really big on making sure I'm delivering a finished product to clients so that, you know, my name, because I'm a sole proprietor, it's my business alone. I don't have anybody that work for me, so my name is my whole livelihood. So I take it extremely seriously that people can say that they have a pleasurable experience working with me, as well as that the work is done in a respectful and timely manner. So I take it very seriously.
So I'm happy to hear that you take it very, very seriously, because I think that sometimes do you believe that people take creatives as seriously as they are supposed to? Stephen, you're clearly saying no. Why?
No.
Why?
I mean, I don't even know. I don't know why, but I think a lot of times photographers, I know Yannick probably hear them say you're a picture taker. You're a picture man, you know, you can take a couple pictures for me. You know, I get that a lot. So it's a lot of times I think they don't understand the work and the time it takes to create a product. So they will see the finished product and say, oh, you can't shoot this, I can't get my son off camera, you know, I can't get him to shoot this for me, you know, and it's kind of just like, no, it's not that easy. It takes more work, it takes a lot of time to edit an image as well as to give them a finished product. So I just think we come from our family, our parents come from more of a 9 to 5, a lawyer, a doctor position. So they still don't really understand that you can make money, that artists can make a living off of creative work. I don't think they get it. They still don't really get it. So a lot of Jamaicans don't respect it.
But do you think that you guys are the average though? I view you guys as being an anomaly. in that you are able to, especially you, Yannick, 100% of your life is funded by art. Because as you did say, Stephen, I think the thought process tends to be, oh, but you want to become an artist, like a photographer, how are you gonna eat? Yeah. So Yannick, how did you even get into that space? How did you even get into that mindset, first of all?
I'd say I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I am, and I don't take it for granted any day at all. But I grew up, both of my parents are creatives. My dad is a full-time PR photographer, and my mom is an interior decorator. Okay. So I never really grew up with my parents going into brick and mortar offices and select spaces. So I never personally really grew up with that mindset either. Okay. I grew up with them being very flexible with their time and still, being very dedicated to their work. And that's the same approach that I have. So I don't really believe that necessarily a space denotes what kind of work you are able to do. It may facilitate a certain specific type, but being a photographer, a lot of it is location based, as Stephen would know. So it doesn't really make sense unless you're necessarily a studio photographer to just be limited to one space. So I didn't really grow up thinking that I need to go into an office. It's just about a skill and being able to bring that skill, and the skill is malleable to be able to bring it anywhere you want to. So that's how I see it.
Okay, so your upbringing, I think, had a lot to do with creating the mindset. What about you, Stephen? It sounds like your parents are the opposite.
Yeah, my parents, my mom's a teacher, my father is a pastor. So they'd always see me like drawing and creating, but they'd never really, they'd be like, that's nice. But you know what I mean? But they wouldn't really
study.
Yeah, they'd be like, so make sure you go to your job, make sure you go to bed early so you can wake up for work. So my family has always been more scholarly. I'm the only artist in the family. So with that, it was kind of difficult for me to kind of explain to them that, this is what I love, this is what I want to do. So when I took this job, when I started working like at a 9 to 5, I was like, man, I want to do my passion. But then I kind of just say, it makes sense to kind of do what you want to do like on the weekends and earn from it to the point where you have enough traction that you can leave your job and start on your own thing, So that's how I see it as now. Like I have my 9 to 5, but I build enough momentum. So at the right enough time, I can start working full time.
You can start transitioning. So Yannick, you never ever thought about brick and mortar 9 to 5 because of your parents. Cool. No, that's cool. That's amazing. That's cool. You've never worked for the man.
Never like a real job where like a TRN is involved. Like I've been in like,
it's not real unless it's a TRN.
I've been to a couple because I went to school for graphic design and art. I did a couple like summer jobs at agencies like OGM and different agencies. I worked at Buzz Magazine, which is like, all of them were brick and mortar. So I have a very light pre-adult understanding of what the experience is like.
Okay. Alright. There's a question that was at the tip of my tongue and it slipped me. Oh, education. Education.
As in for photography?
No, just like overall. Did either one of you go to school for art? Edna Manley or you?
I went to Edna Manley.
Okay. What did you think about that experience? Is it something that you would do again? Do you think it provided value for you?
Wow.
No, I'm not saying that you're gonna pick up yourself and go, hey Edna, let's do this again. No.
Oh my God.
Meaning,
never want to go through that again.
Oh, never?
Never.
Why?
It was good, but I'm so glad to be done. Me personally, this is not for everybody, but I guess it's a part of my person. Yeah. I'm not really a school lover. Okay. I'm not 100% fond of how information is transmitted to students.
It's very factual.
It's very fact and very linear. I don't feel like, even though going to an art school, that even the information is brought across in a creative manner, they're still looking at it as this block of time, do this, report to this and this. And that's good for structure, because not all artists will leave art school being independent artists. Some of them will go to jobs. So that structure is important. But what I would say the most valuable thing I received from Edna Manley specifically is a community of other artists that I was around while going there. It's very motivating, and there's so many different minds that you're just exposed to every day that take so many different approaches to problems and tasks that I necessarily never had the idea of, and that challenges you as well as grows you very well. So that environment was very beneficial to how I operate now.
Okay, so community and environment.
Community is extremely important.
Fantastic.
I went to film school still. So
Oh, yeah.
So bad mind.
No, no, man. But when I graduated, honestly, I learned for photography. I taught myself. Like
Okay.
I'd send stuff to other photographers, but YouTube, you know what I mean, reading books. That's how I learned. So I didn't really go to like an art school. I had to like learn on my own. And
But you went to film school, so tell us what value did you get from film school?
What?
And,
I went to Temple. I went to Temple in Philadelphia.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
no share, I want to hear.
Alright, well,
Please.
okay, so film school for me was kind of just. It was. I didn't take it seriously. Like real talk, I didn't take
Why?
my degree seriously because I wanted to do the arts. I really wanted to do the art school, but I kind of. There's a part of me that was like, oh, I should be a bit more realistic. I should do something where I can make money from it. So I said, yeah, let me just get into film school. So I started to do like editing. I did a lot of like. I did more like Latin American cinema, more like watching movies and writing thesis statements. So it wasn't more like shooting.
Okay.
So it was when I left film school, I started to really understand, I have to apply myself, I have to really edit and do more films. And so, I mean, I enjoyed my experience at film school, but I don't feel like I applied as much as I could have when I was there.
Do you do film
But
right now? You edit right now?
Yeah, I edit for TV.
So is it that, would you be interested in pursuing film any further? Or?
Like I still write. I write my scripts and things.
Okay.
But like, yeah, but photography is just more my passion. I just enjoy shooting and things.
Okay, fantastic. So community, as Yannick mentioned, what is the community like in Jamaica for creatives?
It's developing. It's coming from very far, a lot of years where, you know, traditionally people don't see the arts as a viable means of income or work. But we're coming much further now, where parents are more open to their kids doing art, to being involved in art. So the community now, I think they have a little bit more vigor. You know, I'm seeing a lot of artists who are younger than me and older than me. They're sharing, they're putting out more works. Like, to me, like, between 2016 and 2017 is the most I've seen, like, untrained artists. And when I say untrained artists, I just mean artists that didn't go to art school. They're still good. But it's the most I've seen, like, the layman artists push themselves out. A lot of people who are doing the 9 to 5, who are going to UA, who have a passion for art that has been previously suppressed. I've seen them now making a big effort to push their art out. People who weren't even interested in art before, now that art has a little less of a stigma, they're starting to explore and saying, I'm liking this whole thing. So I'm seeing where the community is growing in spaces like New Wave. There's also a young girl called Rue who is doing a lot of work to help. R-O-U-X, who's doing a lot to promote young artists her age, and a lot of them are untrained. So seeing that community kind of grow and people supporting each other, and a lot of people doing work, like the community is doing a lot of work for reggae and dancehall, to me that's great. So I think it's improved a lot from like me going to high school and from the take up a pencil,
and the internet kind of just bring it together, you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and definitely, you know, the relation between just, you know, being black and being an artist has been highlighted a lot too. So the support online and the community is definitely there, so it's improving a lot. Still have a way to go, but really happy with the progress, I must say.
Okay.
Instagram, you know?
Instagram. So before we go into all of the resources and stuff that people can look into, we're doing a quick little time check here. How are we looking, guys? 15 minutes left?
No.
Oh, 15 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, what? We're talking for that long? No. Okay, so we are live here with Yannick Reid, the therapist soul, and Stephen Groper. I'm always tempted to say G. Stephen Groper.
Groper, not Groper. Both
fantastic fantastic artists who are sharing with us today on the creative industry from the perspective of photographers. I know you guys may have some comments or some questions that you would like to ask. Please feel free to ask them on Facebook or on Instagram. So drop us your questions and we will feed them in as we get them. You can ask anybody any question that you like that is appropriate. Yes.
Keyword appropriate.
Appropriate.
Yeah,
appropriate. Okay.
That's
Totes approach. Okay. All right. So guys, you brought up the idea of Instagram and that sort of thing. So Stephen, when we're preparing for this interview, I asked both of you for LinkedIn.
No.
Yeah,
exactly. I was like, yo, LinkedIn? Really?
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Where? So clearly LinkedIn is not for you.
No.
What is the artist space? Where would you recommend an untrained artist who's trying to get into the space? Where do they need to be? What do they need to be doing?
Instagram, man.
I'd say Instagram number 1 and Twitter number 2.
Why Twitter?
That's more for like your thoughts or like your opinions.
Well, I think Instagram is great for starting a catalog or a small portfolio, while Twitter is a lot of building community. I think people they see Twitter because it's kind of a very inflammatory network, which is true. But what it is secretly is that Twitter is a very easy way to meet and network with people, like under the guise of speaking casually. So, you know, it's very easy that, you know, you may post a photo or an image on Twitter and it doesn't get as much likes as on Instagram,
right.
But the interaction that's organic may be a little bit higher. Somebody may retweet it and say that's cool, and you can start to follow and speak to people on Twitter, while Instagram is more like fans that come to appreciate, while Twitter is how you can kind of grow a little bit in terms of building a bond with your network. So I think that's important because it's more when people feel comfortable with it, especially as it pertains to photography and video. It's people comfort level with it that really, I say, affects how much people hire you. Like, you could have been like sick, but you know, if I don't feel comfortable necessarily, my idea of being able to approach is a little bit lessened. But you know, I see Stephen tweet, and I might not be a photographer, but I see we have common likes and dislikes, and I feel comfortable starting a conversation with you to the point where I say, yo, you know, so I always,
right?
So it feels more natural, and that's the community that we have kind of in Jamaica, where people want to kind of have a little bit of a personal relationship with creatives or people who provide services for them. And I think
feel like a friend, you know, like a friend thing. You kind of feel like a friend thing.
Yeah, that's personally how I feel about everything. Like, if I am doing like banking or accounting, I want to have somebody who's like really intelligent about banking and accounting that I can reason with, because they're able to explain concepts that I don't understand to me easier than somebody who's just like, yes man, call me when you're ready, and they're not really invested in talking to me, not necessarily being friends, you know, but just saying,
sharing.
Yo, alright, the stocks thing, what's the best thing I can do right now? I'm gonna say, alright, well, you can do this, that. And the same applies to photography. It's like, yo, I really need some images for this thing coming up. What's the best? It's like, alright, here what I can do for you. I can do this, and based on this, you can give me this, and we can work something out.
Right.
And that's really how people are comfortable getting their services nowadays. And
I have to say though, because you know what I mean, the friend thing, you know, as a photographer, that don't reach enough where they're like, yo, you know what I mean?
I was just about to ask about that. Where, you know, people are like,
trust me, I get that so many times.
shots.
Yo man, you know, I just want to take some picture, you know, as a friend thing, you know. I was going to give it to somebody else because you're my friend, you know, you can't just do this for me. And it's like, yeah, but you know what I mean, here's my rates, here's my budget, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Whoa.
You know, that because a lot of photographers, like, we talk about that all the time, you know, especially for weddings and stuff. You get a lot of people that are like, oh, you know, you can't just help do a little thing for me, you know what I mean?
Hell no, weddings is like the word. I don't do weddings.
Yeah.
Weddings, I mean, like, weddings scare me.
Really?
No,
there's a lot of work and
I rate
preparation
people
to
that can do wedding photography because it seems very intense. weddings, and
you've never done a wedding before?
I've never shot a wedding. I've never shot a wedding before.
I
I'm
feel like-
extremely intimidated by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because when it's like, you know, some weddings and you see like the amount of money you're getting, you're like, yo, it's a lot of work, but if I have an assistant and thing,
What if you
and it's
miss
a good
the shot?
training.
What if you miss the shot?
No, so I miss no shot.
That's the confidence that you
No,
need.
you know,
Going
Miss
into a
Notion.
wedding, but like I don't know. Like, me, it's just I have a kind of different nature of photography, and I respect like people that are very outspoken and they find it very easy to go up to people they just meet and take photos of them.
Or
I'm not-
events.
yeah.
Yo. yeah.
I'm not really good at going up to strangers and taking photos.
I had a conversation about this yesterday with some photographers.
Whoa! Explain what you mean.
Okay, alright.
Alright,
A very good
yeah,
example
go ahead.
is party photography.
Yeah,
Okay.
event photography is like the rejection. A lot of photographers are afraid of it. It's like, you know, a lot of men do like rejection. And you're no, for real.
This is a genuine
Real talk. And a lot of photographers afraid of rejection. So there was an event yesterday that I was at, and Casey was there, Usain Bolt's girlfriend.
Oh,
And the
okay.
photographer, scan photographer, and go up to her. And she was like, no. And like, you know what I mean? You could have
The
seen
rejection, like,
when
you
you said no to him, it was just like, okay, cool. But when put back him, come on, him go back. You know what I mean? And we're just like, I was like, boy, dog. I said, that's something I like. The event photography, you know, dog. But you know, the like that fear of rejection. A lot of people don't have that. I mean, honestly, I don't really have them type of fear there still.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I get a lot of work sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm no fear of approaching somebody and be like, yo, I have this idea. I think you know what I mean. But a lot of photographers are afraid of rejection.
Okay, alright, so rejection is one challenge.
Yeah,
Yannick,
no,
please
that
go.
I won't lie, because you know your people, they're at their party and they're very particular about who them want to take them picture, cause can establish and them cause you know you have some ludicrous people who go out there and buy cameras and they're just perverts that go so people have legit
This is a
reasons.
thing?
Yeah, oh yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who
alright.
go and they take pictures of girls and do all sorts of terrible things with them, so they're very,
Like the carnival thing, you know?
Yes, just like that.
Yeah.
so people are wary of
That's
who they
absolutely.
let take their picture. And I don't want to be the guy to go up. I'm a big, tall, you see the long dreads and I look very intimidating already.
You
I
look
don't
like a
really,
panda.
yeah, I don't really want to be approaching anybody with a camera and be like, hey, no. No. I want you to enjoy yourself. Let the photographer that you're familiar with, oh, hey, scan person, yeah, man, take a picture.
Yeah.
Do your thing. No. No, that's just not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so what other challenges do you think that, well, in particular, photographers face? Outside of the rejection, of course, and stuff like that. Like, how do you choose what kind of photography to focus on? I'm sure some things are more lucrative than others, but how do you decide what to pursue?
For me, it's more passion. If I love it, I'll work with it.
Yeah, passion, comfort. You know, some people are extremely good and comfortable with event photography. It's what they love. It allows them to experience a lot of things and build a very large network of clients for other jobs. Some people, like Stephen said, them enjoy weddings. It's a thrill. You know, them have them team and it's a whole. It's almost like a group affair where them take on certain things. I love portraits and concerts. You know, just concerts are fun for me because the lighting is always changing, so it's almost like, I guess, the photographer's equivalent of a Rubik's Cube or challenge. Just the fun of figuring out the best angle and stuff like that. And portraits, I really like being able to try and capture someone's personality or just an aspect about them in an artistic form. And I really like the feeling of when someone gets their portrait and they love it. It's a really gratifying feeling. So
You
I
capture
mean,
the essence.
yeah, and they feel represented accurately in the image, and that's really satisfying. So I think everybody really going to gravitate. Some people really like conceptual, like what Stephen was saying earlier. A lot of people kind of like journalistic photography, which is kind of like behind the scenes, just documentary stuff like that. Just documenting culture and all that stuff like that. So you know, I think like what Stephen was saying is that the more passionate you are about something is the more you're going to invest into the craft, and I think naturally you will stand out. Your passion will stand out and people will gravitate to the passion that you have for the specific thing, and more work will come.
So sometimes it don't make sense to chase a field because you see you can make money from it. It's not gonna help in the
It doesn't
long
work
run.
out. Alright, so before you guys continue, we have a question. Mr.
Okay.
Technical Guy.
Okay, there's a question on Instagram for Yannick.
Okay, sure.
Okay, to the young man in the red shirt.
Yeah.
How long have you been freelancing? And was there a point where you felt like it wouldn't work out? From Yannick.
Okay.
Okay, how long have I been freelancing? I freelanced I freelanced the year that I left college, which was 2014. So I've been freelancing full time for 4 years. I was doing freelancing before leaving school, but full time is 4 years. The doubt comes and goes sometimes. What I can tell you, I guess, as a tip is that the first 3 years of me freelancing full time is that I didn't have an understanding of how the market worked in terms of how people spend their money in seasons. So every time there was a dip in client work, I would freak out or panic. But then I started to realize the trend and the pattern in the sales. So I realized that people spend a lot going towards weddings, summer, and spend a lot going towards Christmas. And while they're recovering in January and February, things are gonna kind of slow down. So I would think prior to that, every January and February, I think I'm losing it. People don't want to work with me anymore.
Yo,
when
no man, real talk. There's a point where you're not getting no context. And you're like, yo, it's what?
And I'm very nervous and crippled. But then you realize that is a pattern. You also start to save around that whole technique, and then you can also maintain peace of mind longer. So now this year, I'd say probably about 2017 is the year that I kind of really understood the market. So I kind of arranged myself a little better way, and I feel way more comfortable right now in Tamarind season 2018.
Tamarind?
Yeah, that's what they call it when people are reeling from December. Spending they call it
when I'm hungry, so they
maybe
tamarind off.
I don't know. I hear it in a song and country, so I like it. So I just say no. Tamarind season, people are recovering, you know. So
that's the new talk. Tamarind season.
I am copyrighted.
Alright, Yarani, we hope that answered your question. Remember, guys, you can ask any questions that you like from any of the featured guests today. We are here with Yannick Reid and Stephen Roper.
I guess I grew up from my Jesus.
Stephen Roper. Alright, guys. So, money. Let's go right there. Dineros.
Yeah, I'll talk very honestly about money.
Nobody
else has to, but I
go on, man.
Alright, okay, first of all,
it was a struggle for me to make money when I started.
How did you even start to establish yourself in charging, like prices and stuff like that? How do you determine that?
Man.
How do you put monetary value on the skills that you have?
I work out my budget still. Yeah, I worked out a budget. No, how my pricing. So I work out how much do I spend per month on like gas, equipment. Let's say if my equipment get damaged, my machine. So like I add up everything and then how did I do it? Like I add up my total for the month and then I divide it by the amount of hours
you spend
doing it, and then like I work out my rates. I have to charge at least like 7
X amount.
At least 7 per hour or something like that to work out to get up to be okay enough. Like okay, I can live off of this.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it took me a while to kind of figure that out, because at some point I used to just say okay, I can charge like 250.
That'll be fine.
You know what I mean? And I'll be fine. But then I realize it. You know what I mean? In terms of how much I spend and the amount of time I invest on gas, driving around to location, providing the makeup artist. You know what I mean? And like the lights as well. Even like to rent a studio. If I'm supposed to do like if I'm doing a product, you have to rent the studio, get lights, make sure the models are paid. You know what I mean? Have them sign them release form. So you know what I say, like them see it themselves on billboard and them a call and I say, yo, how many from billboard I'm gonna get pop up? You know, so. All of that, it adds up. So it's not, you can't just say, yeah man, I can't charge, because I know some photographers charge, even for like birthday shoots, 5,000 to 7,000, and you're just like, for the entire shoot, and you're just like, yo, how would them doing that? Like, you know what I mean? So I really work out my budget and how much my expenses are.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's very similar to what Stephen said. Like I kind of look at like my monthly expenditure. On top of that, I kind of try and estimate what is what's the value of an hour of my time?
Okay.
And personally, I just want to say this because when I was coming up,
nobody knows.
no, but like
it's the most annoying
I
thing.
would ask people like, yo, how do I charge? What do I charge? And people would be, yo, you just have to, like, no one would give me any figure. So even still with the advice, there's still no starting point. So to me, like, I used to watch a lot, I used to read a lot, and to me, I think an hour of my time working is about value that's about 100 US.
Okay.
Especially, and that being said, normally nobody really wants exclusively an hour of your time.
Right.
Like the time it takes to reach somewhere, also the time it takes to get back somewhere is accumulated in time as well as gas. And then you have to compound the labor that you do on it. So for example, I have a package because people, as it pertains to creative, why sometimes people are very nervous about hiring creatives is because it's really hard to get an accurate cost up front. I just see that is a challenge or issue people have, and it creates a stigma. So I try to say, all right, how can I create a scenario where people can get what they want while I can give them what they want while not overextending myself or I feel reducing like I am reducing my value. So I have a portrait package that's really rudimentary that I charge $20,000 for. People get 20 images, I spend 2 hours, and they're happy. People normally don't really use more than, from what I see, when people get 20 images they use like 5 a lot of times. Like they'll post their favorite 5 and then they'll just chill until they buy a next shoot. And people don't normally use more than 2 hours for the base that they usually use at most is about 90 minutes.
Right.
A lot of people, they kind of just want to shoot something outside or by a white wall, and that gives me 30 minutes. Real talk. And people, it usually takes me like between 15 or 30 minutes to get and leave there. So that price, I find I still recoup on gas. I make a profit. The client knows exactly what they're paying up front. There's no surprises, and they get exactly what they want. And I tell people there are additions to the package that you can get. And like, say, if you say you want a studio package, there's a studio rate if you want. And you know, that's a good way for people to understand why certain things are costed certain ways and what's the certain value as to what it is. So that's just a good example in terms of how I price something.
Okay. Alright, so what I want to bring to your attention, guys, Landy Murray says there's a market for the man who charges $7,000 for those shows.
Somebody has to do it.
That's true, but now my question to you guys is, for these guys who are charging $7,000 for something that you know is definitely worth more than that, what impact does that have on the entire market, and what would you say to somebody like that? In the nicest ways possible.
To the individual, I would say what's the value of your time? Like, I think that's a good way for somebody to do a certain amount of introspection and say, all right,
Landy Murray is not the photographer. Okay, thanks,
So the birthday, I mean, we have to be real, you know. There's somebody who, so I say, all right, if you are spending 2 hours of your time doing a birthday or 3 hours, what is an hour of your time worth? But there are some people who have cameras who don't know like where their rent coming from. They don't have certain things.
True.
So if they, I mean, that culture is very awful that it exists, the whole make a money culture. But there are some people where that is them reality. If they can make $7,000 with this camera when I have, I shoot a birthday party, is $7,000 that going to go towards me eating some food for the rest of the week.
Right.
But what my hope is that, you see, when we have discussions like these and you can share figures and tactics, is that hopefully that birthday photographer says, I didn't know I could make this much more.
Yeah.
Because if sometimes people don't know better, like what I was saying, when you don't share, when you hide
Exactly.
the prices, to me,
A lot of photographers do that, man.
the photographers who are high up, who hide their prices, to me, hurt the industry more than the lowly photographers will take a small amount or undercut, because they don't know what they can earn, and there's no resource for them to understand how do I charge, or how do I do this. And people are always saying stuff about like tax evasion. I'm just like, yo,
I read that, bro.
I agree with you guys, but remember, there are different markets out there. You can't charge the man in Moco Clarendon 150 USD per hour
What did I
for a party for their daughter. They simply can't afford it, but they want the memories. Also, I agree what I said. There's a person, like you said, there's a person who does that and will do it. So if they see, you know, there's a market for everybody within a certain tier to make a certain amount of money. So it seems that they're not paying attention. There's a certain market for like a certain tier. So there's the photographer that shoots birthday parties, and they're probably doing it along with other things. Like maybe I'm a farmer, or maybe, you know, I run a taxi, but on the side I might shoot some birthday.
That's why the advantage of having a 9 to 5 sometimes. You can say no. You know what I mean? I can say no to something where I know, boy, I lower myself and I'm going to be too much of a hassle to really take this job, you know? So that's the advantage sometimes of having something to fall back on. But for you have a lot of... there are times when I never have a job and it was like, Chano, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to take that job right about that.
Alright, so we have Dion Coke saying we're not paying attention to our feed. Dion, big up yourself, post your question, because we're not seeing any question from you.
Yeah, that's
your question or your comment, so you can post it so that we can see it. Thank you for your comments, Landy Moray. So guys, clearly the problem is people are not sharing.
Word.
How are you guys proposing that is addressed on a consistent basis?
What I used to do this starting out, I'd call a photographer, pretend to be a client. Way back in days, way back when, man, you know what I mean? But like, I think, like, I know I just read about a lot on pricing and everything. I feel like I understood now how much I can charge, I think. But back in the day when you had no clue, man.
But what about Jenny? You've never done that? You've never pretended to be a client to get a price?
Never. I don't judge anything. I'm being honest. I've never ever done that, really and truly. I mean, I don't know. Like, I've never really. I've looked on something. like I remember, I'll call up like my virgin, like Derek Foster. He used to have like him price list up, and I used to say, like, I said, all right, let me see how much that money I make. Alright, cool. And I realized like our pricing was pretty similar, so I said, alright, I feel like, yo, he might deliver a really good product. And if our prices are similar, this is keeping like the elasticity of the whole thing proper. So sometimes I will look. Sometimes if I see it low and it's my friend, I said, dog.
Yo,
like,
you
heard
about the story about the photographer that was charging like 40 for like a full wedding package, and a lot of photographers were telling her like, yo,
40 what?
40,000 for like video, photos, all day. So a lot of photographers messaged her and I was like, yo, you can't
charge that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I feel like a lot of times some photographers won't really help. The community can be kind of closed off here.
Oh,
photographers
definitely.
Don't reach out and be like, boy, you know, you can't.
Oh no, that is definitely where the industry is coming from, and me personally, I don't subscribe to that. I might not collaborate a lot with photographers, not like out of anything deliberate, but you know, I'm friends with a lot of them. I'll talk to a lot of them. If I see somebody post an image and I have something to say about it, I don't put it under them feet to hurt them.
you message them one away, right? Kind of nice.
And I was like, yo, that look kind of weird, you know. I'll probably only put positive comments on, but I wouldn't do anything to hurt their brand. But, you know, there's a great network right now, photographers, where we exchange information and we talk about techniques and stuff like that. So I think now
WhatsApp groups.
you know, when we're at shows and you see one photographer, he said, yeah, yo, what's going on? And he said, are we a shoot fun? You know, people are way more open and you're discussing things, because I feel like when the industry as a whole does well, everybody else does. If I'm a client now and I say, I not paying no photographer no $10,000, them have to pay $5,000. If you go to every photographer and them say them not doing that work for $5,000, or only really trash photographers going to take like the $5,000 thing.
My.
Them going to realize that, alright, it looks like I cannot get quality for under X price.
Right. Okay. Really trash. Okay.
All
right. So big up all the trash photography. Anyway, can you scroll down? I see a question from Kevin Jackson. Scroll down.
I proposed something called but people, we're working on that now. There's like an association now.
Right. So I actually wanted to ask about that. I know you guys, you do informal talking when you have time and you link up, you do WhatsApp groups or whatever. But for somebody new coming in who may be afraid to approach you, Yannick, or afraid to approach you, Stephen Roper.
Word.
What do they do? Where do they go?
The association kind of, I mean, there's been a lot of talks about that. What that guy is talking about, the Photographers Association. Yeah, the Photographers Association. But it's still, I don't know if it's still working out. I don't know what's going on with it. But a lot of photographers want to be like, they want to unionize and, and to kind of have like a group rate and, not a group rate, but a standard. But I don't know when that's going to happen, really. I thought I'm sure there's like a couple coming up and things. I'm not sure.
Okay. Alright, so we have a question here from Kevin that my technical guy has just removed from the page. So we're just gonna pretend that, oh no. Fantastic.
There, them skip me again. What Kevin said? what was his question?
We're so sorry, Kevin.
What was his question?
Can you just...
He asked, how much do you want to make in
5 years?
Yeah.
There's your question.
My 5-year plan.
Yes.
Boy, that's a very good question.
Long term. I plan out for my year still. I do my year, but I don't know how much I know how much I want to earn, but like I tell myself I want to earn this much for a year. Like my goal right now is like I don't want to say the amount.
You don't have to say.
Yeah, but I have my yearly goals, but I don't know. 5 years, man. There are photographers that I know that I see kind of go work really hard and them kind of get to a level, and I just told myself if I keep shooting and if I keep working at it, that I'll build enough of a traction for myself that I know I could earn a certain amount in 3 years. I didn't give myself 5. I said 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I just kind of have an understanding of like what my monthly expenses are and how long it takes for me to achieve certain things. And personally, I'd really like it if, like, I give a figure, I'd like it if I could consistently earn 150k per month steadily. If that's like a fixed minimum. I'm not there yet. I'm close. It's like racking in between like 80 to 120 per month, but I'd like it to be a consistent.
Earn alright, man.
I mean, there are some months where there's nothing that comes in. I think that's It's terrifying. But a certain standard, like that one where I'm saying 150 per month, to me gives me room to do certain things comfortably as well as save. And I think I've spent enough grunt work from like being in college to spending money accumulating equipment so that I'm not really spending a lot of money on equipment now. I don't know how much 150 over 5 years will be. I won't lie, as a creative your mind kind of change a lot in terms of how you may want to do your thing. So I try not to set myself too far in stone. Me personally, it's kind of intimidating. So I kind of just more look on how much I'm earning as well as quality of life. That's really what it is for me.
Guys, how much time do we have left? 15 minutes, so we are almost wrapping. But again, ladies and gentlemen, remember that you can ask any question that you would like to any of our featured guests here, Yannick Reid at the Therapist Soul, right? SOL.
I
Like
thought,
the
you know, when I saw
sun.
it, I was like, yo, the therapist style. I was like, pistol? What I mean?
The therapist soul. And then we have here, of course, Stephen Roper.
At G Stephen Roper.
At G Stephen Roper.
Big up,
You
big
can
up,
find
G.
these guys after the fact. But the question that I wanted to ask you guys that has just slipped my mind completely.
Are you forgetting that?
Is of course,
Oh.
yeah. Okay, no. Oh, business techniques. You consider yourselves entrepreneurs. I hear budgeting. I hear some amount of planning. What else are you guys doing?
I think right now my thing, what I'm really working on is proper planning and like mood boards as a photographer. To like mood boards is like, I'm still working on that. Because I'll have my idea and I'll be like, okay, I'll send the concept to the stylist, send the concept to the model, like, this is what I want. But then like you go on the shoot, and you know you're shooting and you're like, boy, you know, when you go home and you're editing, like, yo, I wish I did do that differently. So proper planning for me, like mood boards and everything, that's really what I'm working on now.
Okay.
Personally, I guess there's two sides to the business, especially when it's you alone or you're running most of it. You have like the business as like the customer relations, as well as the actual product and final delivery. In terms of the final product, I'm pretty happy with the type of stuff I'm getting. I just kind of, like what Steven's saying, I'd like to explore a little bit more concepts, find more ways to explore. This year I really want to be a little bit more fearless in terms of the things that I attempt to do. You know, like even just try, even if them flop. Just to get them out and get the habit of getting the thoughts out, because we have to, you know, embrace failure as a technique of how to learn.
That's how we learn, man.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy you guys brought up failure.
Okay.
How do you feel about constantly putting out what I believe is a reflection of yourselves to public scrutiny? And how do you deal with somebody going,
Let me tell you. Last year, because I shot every week, I joined a couple photography groups on my WhatsApp. And I'd send images, and yo, let me tell you, the man named brutal. You know, like when you said like you're positive, no positive, dog. Brutal, like the top photographer, them brutal, man. But you know what it was? I just never take it personally. I just listened to everything and I was like, alright, cool. There are times when them feel like they're rude and they want to cuss, but I just say, alright, cool. And the thing is, and after a while, them start respecting me, because them say, boy, you're really improved, man, starting from this year to where you are now. You know, cause me personally, I always take it as feedback. No matter what it is, it's always feedback. There's always something that you could do better. So if our shoot don't end up well, I don't blame the model or thing. I said, boy, it was my fault. The director, as a photographer, I never really make sure everybody was enjoying themselves. I never really make sure I control the dynamic of the environment to make sure that everybody worked together to that one goal. So I don't take it personally anymore, you know. Even like I did a shoot Saturday gone and I was like excited, you know. So yo, let me show it to some of the guys, hear what the man them said. Man them said, boy dog, the people don't really seem that invested in the shop, blah blah. I'm kinda get vexed. I said, no man, that's the idea I was going for. But then I just understand and I said, boy, you know what? There's an element of truth to that. I need to make sure I explain to the models more what I want, and they're more invested. So when I take the shot, like the average person can see it, and even if they don't really understand it, they feel what I'm going for, you know?
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, what was the question again? Failure. Yeah, okay. As I said, because I take my business really seriously, I personally, I wouldn't say I take things personal, but you know, customer satisfaction is very important to me, especially to my clients who, like I can say, deal with me very good, you know, like them pay on time and they're very understanding.
Big up the people who pay on time.
And you know,
just trying to say.
And they don't try to micromanage you, which is very emotionally invested in making them happy.
Right.
And in moments where I feel like I've let them down, you know, I will beat up myself over it because I feel like they deserve better than that. And a lot of times I try not to spend too long on the beating up part, because that in itself it's not helpful. It's not helpful.
Right.
It's all about saying, alright, you messed up. Failure is a natural part of life, and failure to me is a good thing because it's a method where you learn. if them say smooth seas don't make a good sailor.
Right.
So if you always going through easy stuff and you don't understand failures, that you're not necessarily always learning. You say, alright, I know if you fail 10 times, you know 10 times what doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
So when you go, you can someone say, alright, let's try this. You say, no, from experience, I know that will not work.
Right.
Yeah,
So, you know, I try to see failure as a learning experience. Every time something don't go wrong, I say, what's the lesson here? And that's how I try to move on.
Move on through the failure. We have a question on Instagram.
Yes, question on Instagram from Instaja.
Okay. Instaja?
Instaja.
As a creative entrepreneur with the possibility of inconsistent income, what is the safety net if you have one?
I think you guys can.
It's an open question, so.
Yeah.
Well, we done already said sometimes 9 to 5 can really be a safety net, you know. But I don't. I like that Will Smith quote to him say having a plan B prevents you from working on the plan A. So I mean having a 9 to 5 can help, you know what I mean. But sometimes you just have to save, you know. Like in your case, you just save properly.
Yeah, you have to, as I say, analyze the market so you know what the consistency is. I mean, before that, to be honest, it's really like some months it's like you'll be faced with your car insurance, everything just compounds one year, and like some months I'm nice and then some months I'm not so nice. You know, I'll give you the shoot for free, like you've been support, but there's some months I just have to be level that, like right now the company is going through a lot of financial challenges and rearranging, and right now we're not in the position to offer pro bono services.
I like how you word it, pro bono services.
Word,
yeah.
And
professionalism with the rejection.
There's the option of just selling everything.
No, man. Sometimes, yeah.
Well, we hope that answered your question, InstaJ. Alright, so guys, we have only a few minutes remaining. We have 5 minutes remaining. I want you guys to give one, maybe 2 pieces of advice for somebody who wants to possibly be in your position. You know, they want to embrace their creative side and become entrepreneurs and make some money from it. What word of advice would you give to this individual? Who wants to go first? Rock, paper, scissors. Alright, think about it for a second. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are in our final 5 minutes of the second episode of Start Live, featuring Yannick Reid, the Therapist Soul, and G. Stephen Roper.
Well, God bless up.
So if you have any questions, now is the last chance for you to ask any questions that you have or make any comments while these guys tell us what is their final word of advice for somebody who wants to be a creative entrepreneur and make some money. Not some money, who wants to live. Who wants to live? Who wants to be an actual creative? No, not some money. No $7,000 shoes.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
No, go ahead, man. You go.
Okay. I think I said this on Jigsaw Focal Point, and I think it still applies. What I would say is that life is a strategy. No matter what you do, creative or not. And you see, if you are saying I want to be an artist and you want to make money from it, you're going to be working with people. And you have to understand people. It has to be strategic. How can I get attention? How can I satisfy the customer? How can I remain happy? All of these things are fluctuating elements, and you have to be keen on learning. It's just about really paying attention. To be honest, try not to be too emotional as a creative.
Oh God, man, yeah.
You really have to keep everything level-headed. You have to keep it here. See the situation and say, alright, what is the objective here? And move through. And don't be afraid to ask. Like, you know, the answers are like on the other side of probably something uncomfortable or kind of shy. Like, you'll only be shy for like 1 second and then you get an answer. So
or they'll reject you and you'll ask somebody else.
And you just move on.
No, Alright, my thing is in terms of perfecting the craft. So I'm a student of the 10,000 hour rule. Like it takes 10,000 hours to get good at something.
Yeah, for real.
So my thing is to anybody that that really is trying to get good at photography, you have to really put the hours in.
Yeah.
You have to really shoot as much as you can. Like that still is me. Like I shoot too much. So like make sure you shoot on the weekends, come up with ideas, be fearless with your ideas, be willing to just experiment with your stuff, but put the hours in. Like definitely.
True.
The 10,000 hours is
Agreed,
a real thing.
10,000 hours. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from the experts, the professionals themselves. Guys, wrapping up. Where can we find you? Oh, Yannick, you're working on an exciting thing where you've just released a photo book.
Oh, Ethiopia or something.
Yes. So I'm giving you guys your time to plug, to brag.
Okay, to find me, it's at the therapist SOL on Instagram. And if you have problems remembering it, you can go to my website at www.yannick, YANNICK, and that has all my socials and my work. So let's link up, DM me, let's chat.
Alright, for me it's G Stephen Roper. That's my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Facebook as well. My website is Abundant Media. That's my company. Abundant Media. So it's abundant-media.com. So follow me, DM me if you have any questions and things. If you want to work together or collaborate, sure.
For real.
Not for $7,000.
Yeah,
thank you very much. It's been fantastic, you guys, hanging out. Thank you so much for joining us for the second episode of Start Live. Start Live on Start Social.
At Start Social.
At Start Social
CBN,
CBN, like Caribbean, but short.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you where to find me on Instagram because it's private.
Yeah.
But
big up Rachel.
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
And sharing. Our next episode is not next week, but the week after that. So we will give you the full info. Why do you look like you're about to do something wrong, Steve?
No.
Okay, all right. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, everything you do is worth it. So get out there and start something. See you guys next time.
Bless, thanks.
Thanks for having us.